Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. Today I'm sharing the cards I made using Love from Lizi's Adore Him Special Edition Christmas Kit. As I'm recording this voiceover, the kit is still available and I have provided a link in the description box below. I love that this kit is a Christian themed Christmas kit. It includes a 6x6 paper pad, coordinating ephemera, a large stamp set with lots of images and sentiments. There's some beautiful bling, a die, an embossing folder, and also 2 full sheets of peel-offs. Let's go ahead and get started with card design number 1. I am using some card sketches for inspiration. This first one is from Freshly Made Sketches. It's number 537. And if you are interested in any of the sketches I use in this video, I do share all of that information on my coordinating blog post. That link is provided in the description box below, or you can simply head over to KristieMarcotte.com. For this first card, I used some mustard yellow cardstock for the background, and I added this lovely detail using a die from Honeybee Stamps called Ornate A2 Cover Plate. I'll layer it on some dark brown cardstock. There are so many beautiful pattern paper designs. I selected this one since it has lots of different scenes. We have baby Jesus with Mary and Joseph, the scene of Bethlehem, the 3 kings. There's baby Jesus in the manger, and also lots of little angels. And I cut the angles at the bottom of that panel following the design of the card sketch. For the little banner that'll go behind the sentiment, I'm using some gold pearlescent cardstock. And this is leftover from one of Love from Lizi's add-on cardstock bundles. I've already stamped out the sentiment, "Joy to the world, the Lord has come." And before adhering it on top of that gold banner, I did put some scrap cardstock pieces first, leaving a gap for that little banner. Then I'll adhere it in place using some liquid adhesive. For a final finishing touch, I'll add a few of the mini star peel-offs. Just put 3 of them around the sentiment. The kit does include 2 brand new sheets of peel-offs, but I'm using some partial sheets rather than break into a new sheet. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. For card design number 2, the card sketch is from Sugar Pea Designs. This is Sugar Sketch number 23. I have some lovely pattern paper for the background that has blue and gold looking leafy branches, and it almost has the look of glitter splattered all over it, but there isn't any glitter on the pattern paper. I'll add a small panel of blue tone-on-tone polka dot paper. At the bottom, I'll add a couple of Love from Lizi peel-offs. This color is not included in the kit, but it matches beautifully with the pattern paper. I'll add 2 of them at the very bottom. And I'll use my scissors to cut off the end. I'll layer this panel on some dark blue cardstock, then add my card front onto a card base. All of my cards in this video are American Standard A2 size, 4¼ inches by 5½ inches. Next, I'll add one of the ephemera pieces. We have the scene in the manger with baby Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, and I did pop that up using some foam dimension. For the sentiment, I've already stamped it out, good tidings of comfort and joy. I did cut a fishtail on both sides. I'll put liquid adhesive on the back and adhere it on top of those 2 peel-offs and underneath the manger scene. Then I'll add 2 small banners in the upper left-hand corner using that mustard yellow color and also the same dark blue. Before adhering the blue banner, I am adding just a small scrap piece of cardstock to the right of the yellow banner. Then I'll adhere the blue banner using some liquid adhesive. Then for a final finishing touch, I'll add some more of the mini star peel-offs. Put 3 of them around the sentiment and 2 in the upper left-hand corner. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. There are duplicates of some of the ephemera pieces, not all of them, but quite a few. They're not all exactly the same. Some of them are a little different size, and some of them also have different skin tones for the people. Now moving on to card design number 3. This sketch is from OWH. This is number 203. I selected 2 pattern papers to use for the 3 banners. For the very background of the card, I'm using some more of the mustard yellow cardstock. And if anyone's interested, the brand of that mustard yellow cardstock is Coordinations and the color is Jasper. For the dark blue cardstock, I'm using quite a bit in this kit. It's by Basil and it's the Admiral color. I think both colors work beautifully with the pattern paper in this kit. I'll adhere all 3 of the banners on the yellow cardstock. Then I'll put ATG tape on the back and layer this piece on some dark blue cardstock. Then I'll add my card front onto a card base, this time leaving 1/4 of an inch of the white card base showing. Next I'll add a stitch circle die cut from some blue cardstock. Just adhere that in place using liquid adhesive. I've already stamped out the sentiment Heavenly Peace, and I'll layer it on the same dark blue cardstock. The blue ink I use for most of the sentiments in this video is by Catherine Pooler. It's the Juniper Mist color, and it matches that dark blue cardstock beautifully. Before adhering the sentiment, I did put a scrap piece of cardstock just on the lower portion, since the upper part is sitting on the lower area of that stitch circle die cut. Then I'll add a couple of the ephemera pieces. I have baby Jesus in the manger and also the star, and I did pop those up using some foam dimension. For a final finishing touch, I'll use some more of the mini gold star peel-offs and just put 3 of them around the sentiment. Now moving on to card design number 4. I'm using my favorite OWH sketch. This is number 218. I really wanted to feature this beautiful pattern paper that has baby Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Using some more of that yellow cardstock for the background and adding a strip of white and yellow polka dot paper. I'll add some more of the gold moon dust peel-offs along the edge of the white and yellow polka dot paper. Since that top area will be covered up by the image, I don't need to use a full peel-off strip across that polka dot paper. Layer that on some dark blue cardstock. Add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. Before adhering the image pattern paper, I did put a scrap cardstock piece on the very upper area. Then I'll adhere that in place using some liquid adhesive. I stamped out the sentiment Heavenly Peace on an oval die cut. I've already put some of those scrap cardstock pieces on the very left side, and instead of adhering it in the lower left hand corner, I'll adhere it more toward the top since there's a little gap around the images on the pattern paper. Then to finish off the card, I'll add some more of the mini star peel-offs. So there is my finished card, and again I did make 2 using this design. For card design number 5, the card sketch is from Sugar Pea Designs. This is Sugar Sketch number 37. I selected 2 different pattern papers. For the very background, I have this adorable paper with lots of little angels. Then I also have a small panel of the blue tone-on-tone polka dot pattern paper. I'll layer everything on the dark blue cardstock, and I did round the bottom 2 corners of the polka dot paper. I'll adhere the angel paper in the background, and there is a gap between both of those. You could leave it and just have that blue cardstock showing, but I decided to add another Love from Lizi peel-off. This is the gold moon dust color, but in the straight design, since it is a little wider than the pinstripe style. I'll put some ATG tape on the back and add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. I'll adhere the polka dot panel using some liquid adhesive. For the narrow strip at the bottom of the card, I'm using some solid blue cardstock. Before adhering that in place, I will add those small scrap pieces of cardstock, and I'm also putting a scrap piece of the pattern paper. Just glue those in place using some liquid adhesive. Now I'll bring in one of the ephemera pieces. This is another baby Jesus, Joseph, and Mary image. I'll put some of the scrap cardstock pieces on that upper area. Then I'll add foam dimension on the back side. The cardstock used for the pattern paper and also the ephemera is a nice heavy weight. If it wasn't so thick, I probably wouldn't add all those cardstock pieces, but by adding them, it does help keep everything nice and level. I'll remove the release paper and adhere my ephemera image. I stamped out the sentiment Heavenly Peace on another oval die cut, and I'll adhere that in the lower right hand corner. Then to finish off the card, I'll add a few of the glitter gem stickers that are included in the kit. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. The image with baby Jesus, Mary, and Joseph is my favorite in the whole kit. For card design number 6, the card sketch is from Sketch Saturday. This is number 711. I have another pattern paper for the background with lots of different images. I'll be layering it on some dark brown cardstock. I'm also using that same dark brown cardstock for the narrow strip on the left side of the card, then adding a Love from Lizi peel off along just that left side. This is the brown mirror color in the pinstripe style, and it is a sheet that's included with the kit. I'll put some ATG tape on the back and add my card front onto a card base. I've already stamped out the sentiment on a stitch circle die cut. This is Fall on Your Knees and Hear the Angels' Voices. I love that Christmas song. I'll layer it on a scallop circle die cut. Then I'll pop it up using some foam dimension and adhere it in the lower right hand corner. I'm using some black foam dimension this time instead of the white, simply because that scallop is a dark brown color. Then to finish off the card, I'll add some more of the mini star peel-offs in the gold mirror color. I'll add 2 of the medium stars in the upper left-hand corner. Then I'll add several of the smallest size star around the sentiment. There are some tiny stars that are stamped around the sentiment, and I'm covering up some of the larger ones with the gold peel-offs. It'll add a little extra shine. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. It's a very simple card design, but I really didn't want to cover up all that beautiful pattern paper. Now moving on to card design number 7. The card sketch is from Sugar Pea Designs. This is Sugar Sketch number 36. And I'm really not following this sketch closely. I'm using it more for inspiration. I have this beautiful blue and yellowish gold pattern paper for the background. I'm adding a strip of blue cardstock across the front. And I'm also adding a scallop border die cut. I had already cut this out, and I had intended on making a vertical card instead of horizontal. But instead of cutting out another scallop die cut, I figured I could still use this one since part of it will be covered up with an ephemera piece. For a little bit of shine and separation, I'll add some more Love from Lizi peel-offs. This is the gold moondust color. I'm using the medium width at the bottom and the narrowest width at the top. Then I'll layer this panel on some dark blue cardstock. Put some ATG tape on the back and add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. Next, I'll add one of the ephemera pieces, and this is the Scene of Bethlehem. I'll put that scrap cardstock piece at the very top, then adhere it in place using some liquid adhesive. I'm using some brown cardstock since that's what was closest to me, but no one will see it once I have it adhered in place. And as you can see, I've already stamped the sentiment, good tidings of comfort and joy. Then for a final finishing touch, I'll use some more of the gem stickers that are included in the kit. Put 2 of them in the upper right hand corner and 1 to the left of the ephemera piece. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. For the other card, I did actually make a vertical card. The ephemera piece was a little bit smaller, so I was able to fit all of it on the vertical. But for the one I recorded, that ephemera piece was just a little bit too big, and I wasn't able to fit that and the sentiment together. For card design number 8, I used some light blue cardstock and the embossing folder that's included in the kit. It is a full star, but it won't fit on an A2 size card, so I did trim off part of it. And to help make that design pop a little bit more, I'm using the Juniper Mist Color ink and adding just a very light coat on top. And I'll also use that same ink color for some splatter on the background. Then I'll layer that panel on some dark blue cardstock. I'll add a narrow strip of that same blue cardstock at the bottom of the card. I'm using liquid adhesive to adhere these 2 pieces together, partly because there's all that detail from the embossing folder, and also some of that splatter wasn't completely dry, so I didn't want to turn it over and smudge it. Then I'll use the beautiful Bethlehem star die that's included in the kit. and I cut this out from some gold pearlescent cardstock. I'll adhere it in the upper left-hand corner using some liquid adhesive. Then I'll put my card front onto a card base, and I'm still using liquid adhesive since I don't want to touch that wet ink on the front of the card. Now I'll add the 3 king ephemera pieces, and I am popping these up with some foam dimension. I am leaving off the foam dimension at the end of their robe since they will be overlapped just slightly. The kit does include quite a bit of ephemera, but it also has the images on the stamp set. Now I'm not using any of the images this time since I was really focusing on the pattern paper, ephemera, and the lovely sentiments. I stamped out the sentiment, "Good tidings of comfort and joy," on the same blue cardstock, and using some of the leftover ink on my blending brush, I'm adding just a light coat around the sentiment. And I'll adhere that using some liquid adhesive right above the ephemera pieces. So there is my finished card, and again I did make 2 using this design. I love all the beautiful details on the star embossing folder. And it's nice that the kit includes several items that you'll be able to use again and again. Now moving on to card design number 9, and this is a very simple card design. I selected the pattern paper that has lots of angels, and it's more of a night scene, so you can see lots of stars. And I'm adding a couple of Love from Lizi peel-offs toward the bottom of the card. This time I'm using the gold peel-offs in the pinstripe style. I have the widest width and also the medium width. I'll wrap those ends around the back, put some ATG tape on the back of this piece, and layer it on a scallop rectangle die cut. Then I'll put some more ATG tape on the back and add my card front onto a card base, and you can see just a peek of the white card base showing through the scallop rectangle. I've already stamped out the sentiment, my favorite sentiment, "Fall on your knees and hear the angels' voices." I'll adhere that in the lower left-hand corner. Then I'll add one of the angel ephemera pieces, and I did pop her up using some foam dimension. I'll adhere the angel in the upper right-hand corner. Then for a final finishing touch, I'm adding a gold star peel-off onto that top star in the upper left-hand corner. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. If you need to make a bunch of simple and beautiful Christmas cards, this kit is perfect with all the beautiful paper and ephemera. For my final card design, the card sketch is from Freshly Made Sketches. This is number 544. I selected 2 different pattern papers. The background has a bunch of script and a few different images, and then I'm using more of that blue polka dot tone-on-tone paper. I'll layer everything on some dark blue cardstock, put my card front onto a card base. This is another very simple card design, really focusing on the beautiful pattern paper. I've already stamped out the sentiment, "Joy to the world, the Lord has come." I stamped it on that mustard yellow side, and on the back side of that cardstock, it actually has a pearlescent finish. So I thought that would work perfectly for the little rectangle layer that's behind the sentiment piece. I'll adhere that in the lower left-hand corner. Then for a finishing touch, I'll add some more of the glitter gem stickers that are included in the kit. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. Now here's another look at the 20 cards I made using Love from Lizi's Adore Him Special Edition Christmas Kit. As I'm recording this voiceover, the kit is still available, and I do have a link provided in the description box below. This is a beautiful kit, and it is packed full of products. My favorite thing about this kit is that it's a Christian themed Christmas kit. I know I'll get a lot of use out of that stamp set, and it's a super-sized stamp set. I think it's 6 by 8 inches in size. This is a special edition kit, so quantities are limited. If you are interested, I would suggest not waiting. Once it sells out, it's gone. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.